Recorded Books presents The Pirates of Pacta Servanda by Jack Campbell, narrated by MacLeod Andrews.
To my niece, Megan Englehart. For S, as always. Chapter 1. Master Mechanic Marie of Caerlin awoke from a nightmare of being pursued by remorseless killers through a maze of city streets, some of them crumbling ruins and others in flames. Those hunting her and her friends wore the black jackets of mechanics and carried rifles, or were armored imperial legionaries bearing swords and crossbows, or had the robes and emotionless faces of mages who held long knives. One by one, Marie's friends died, until she was trapped, the killers closing in, and behind them a raging mob destroying all in their path, a mob which would soon sweep over her and the killers alike, leaving nothing but death in its wake. And inside that nightmare, everything was her fault. She had caused all the deaths, including those of her friends. She stared at the wooden beams and planks above her bunk, her breath coming in short gasps and her heart pounding. She was alone in the small cabin, but she could hear the clump of boots and the soft thud of sailors' bare feet on the deck overhead. She controlled her breathing and focused her thoughts. She wasn't in a prison cell, or trapped in the dead city of Marandur, or being chased through the streets of Altice by assassins. She was aboard the small schooner, Grey Lady, surrounded by her friends, and as safe for the moment as someone being hunted by at least half the world could hope to be. The safety was only an illusion, though, because if the mages were right, the mobs which haunted Marie's nightmares would soon arise to smash everything on this world, and the mages claimed that only she could stop that from happening. Her gaze fell on the promise ring on her left hand. The sight of that brought Marie back to full wakefulness. Where was Elaine? And why did the Grey Lady feel as if the ship were motionless instead of sailing for whatever brief sanctuary the city of Julesport might offer? Marie rolled out of the bunk, shrugged into her shoulder holster, and ensured that the pistol nestled there was ready for use, pulled on the dark jacket of a mechanic that she stubbornly continued to wear, and headed out on deck. Major Lane of Eris stood at the rail of the Grey Lady, peering into the formless world beyond. The harsh and brutal training of a mage acolyte ensured that his face revealed none of his feelings, not the annoyance at this setback, or the fear he felt for Marie, who had changed his world just as she was fated to change this entire world, if she lived. The morning sun had risen, but the only visible sign of it was a brightening in the white cocoon formed of sea mist, where the Grey Lady sat becalmed, her sails hanging limp from their spars and booms. Not even the faintest breeze stirred sky, fog, or the waters on which the Grey Lady rode. The air felt heavy and moist, so that each breath required extra labor and conjured up uncomfortable sensations of drowning. Water pooled on every flat surface and formed droplets on every mast, spar, and piece of rigging, the drops sliding down the slack canvas of the sails and the rough cordage of the stays, shrouds, halyards, and ratlines, the drops growing as they absorbed other drops until they fell in a fitful rain, to add to the wetness on the deck. Sound carried with startling ease, somehow magnified by the moist air, but colors were dimmed, as if the mist were stealing their vibrancy and leaving only pale, washed-out remnants. Those on the Grey Lady looked like ghosts to their comrades, looming vaguely out of the mist until they came close enough to be seen clearly. A world's fate hung on the balance, but they could not move. They had left the burning city of Altice behind less than 2 weeks ago, riding the breezes south and west out of the Sea of Bakr, dodging warships of the Mechanics Guild and those ships forced to serve the Mage Guild, and even more than one imperial galley forging far afield in pursuit of them. But now not a breath of wind stirred the unusually placid waters of the Jewel Sea. somewhere not far to the east-north.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.